What's up, metalheads? I'm Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you are new, please consider subscribing and make sure your notifications are on. I upload daily content and sometimes more than one video a day. And today we are going to be disassembling the Urban EDC F5.5 and dropping a set of skiffs in there. This knife is already ridiculously good on the action side of things, ergo side of things. There's really nothing bad about this knife. But a set of skiffs never hurt anything, right? So why not? I've got them here. And in case you're curious about the size, here we go. They are the 5mm 1/16 bearings, are the right size, according to Skiff's website for this knife. And I need to grab the most important thing, my glasses. This will be much easier to do if I can see what I am doing and actually read what I'm trying to read. 5mm 1/16 is what Skiff's website says are the correct bearings for this knife. So let's take it apart. Looks like a fairly simple disassembly. Yeah, we're going to start on the clip side. Trying to see if I even have to take the clip loose. I don't think I do. I think the clip can stay in there and I just take out the body screws and the pivot. So let's see. Looks like T8s would be my guess. Let's double check. Yes. By the way, everything I use in this video will be linked in the description. I think GoodSkrew is linked down there, but if not, these are hard to get. If you want to get one of these, go follow Get GoodSkrew on Instagram. These things are amazing. They're not cheap though, but man, made of Mokatai. Or you can get some that aren't Mokatai for less expensive. But if you don't have one of these, don't want to get one of these, this little Wiha Driver is fantastic. Wiha Bits, the lubricants I use will be in the description also. The Pro Shot Zero Friction. Highly recommend this stuff. Alright, let's jump right in here. This thing has such good action. I'm really just doing this just to see if there can be any improvement. I doubt there's going to be any improvement in the action of this knife. It's so good already. I don't see how you can make it much better. I mean, it's on another level. It really is. These knives are so well done. Do I need one on each side? Is that going to spin? No, it's not. Yeah. Yep. Yep, we're spinning on both sides, so let's we have to throw another T8 on here. Break this free. Try to do this without scratching anything up. All right. Man, they got some good, some kind of Loctite on there and on the pivot. It didn't feel like it on the body screws, but the pivot definitely feels like it has some Loctite. So the screw is actually on the show side. The sleeve is on. So let's put these screws back in here, and we'll go from the show side. See if we can take it apart without having to take everything apart. It's always better to do that if you can, in my opinion. If I don't have to fully disassemble, I'd rather not fully disassemble. You know what I mean? Why make your life harder than it needs to be? Says the guy that's about to put bearings in a knife that already has some of the best action he's already ever felt. But, you know, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, maybe? Alright. Scale one off. Oh, that's interesting. There's a little... It's not interesting. Never mind. I'm confused, as usual. This is nothing new for me. So this is supposedly built by Reassembly, so I expect it to have some really tight tolerances here. Come on, get that liner off of there. Actually, we don't even have to take the liner off any further. That's good enough to put some skiffs in. I mean, let's compare these here. These are 11 balls, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 balls. So more balls is always better. At least, you know, that's what I've been told. The more balls, the better. 11 balls times 2 is 4 more balls than 9 balls times 2. So you got 2 extra pairs of balls in there. It can't hurt the action. That much I'm pretty confident about. I'm not going to say it's going to overly improve the action, but it definitely won't hurt the action. So we're going to drop those back in this bag. And what I do to keep stuff like this organized so I don't lose it, I will write on the bag F5.5. That way, you know, if I ever sell this knife, trade this knife, which I never will, but if it was another knife that I may sell or trade or something, I can give the new owner the original bearings. So, all right, where's my rubbing alcohol? There it is. Go ahead and clean up everything while we've got it apart, although it's really clean inside. Doesn't need a lot of cleaning going on here. I've just got some 90% alcohol here. Get my rag a little bit wet with it. And just wipe the blade down. Wipe down the bearing area here. Man, I love the way they've done this. I wonder how they did that. What do they put on there to keep the acid etch from hitting the blade? Because it's such a good circle. There's no way they're doing it the way I do it with nail polish. You know, I'm sure they got a better way to do this. Shit, they may have just acid etched the whole thing, just sanded the acid etch off, possibly. Alright, I'm having trouble getting down the little grooves there, on those sharp edges, so I'm going to take one of my doodads. Do not buy these from KPL. Don't waste your money buying these from KPL. They charge you like $9 for 50. You can get 500 for $6 or $7. They are linked in the description. They are the exact same thing. Ooh, nice and gunky in there. Go ahead and get in that decent hole. Get that hole clean. We always prefer a clean hole. Alright. It's actually dirtier in this knife than I expected it to be. I did not expect how good the action is. I'm shocked that I'm finding any dirt, honestly. So maybe this is actually, can the action get better? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, this is the smoothest action I've ever felt. I mean, it really is. It's absolutely amazing action on this knife. There's another knife that I would say feels the same way, and it happens to be made by Riat. That is a Chavez 229, which has some of the smoothest action I've ever felt. Impressive action, honestly. And so is this knife. Alright, let's just get a little bit of that off there. And look at the size of that stop pin too, man. That is an enormous stop pin. I mean, look at that girth. I mean, whew, with that much girth, you probably need a couple extra balls, you know? A couple extra pairs of balls in there. There's your Urban EDC engraved on the inside of the liner. That's interesting. See that? Did not expect to see that there. I'm not even going to worry about taking these washers out. There are washers in here, just FYI, because these are titanium liners, so there are still washers in here for the bearings to build their track on. I'm just wiping them down. I don't need to take them out. Just get them clean. There we go. Good enough. We are clean enough. Get the rubbing alcohol out the way. Get the dirty doodads out the way because they're going in the garbage. And get us a clean doodad. We're going to You don't need much lubricant. If you're new to knives or new to my channel and you haven't disassembled your knives yet and don't know, you do not need a lot. You need very little lubricants. A tiny bit goes a long way. The more you put in there, the quicker your knife is going to gunk up. So I'm just putting a layer on that washer and kind of going around the pivot a little bit. With the bearings, you got an open side and a closed side. Actually, with the Skiffs, not so much, but a lot of bearings like the old ones I just took out, you have an open side and a closed side. You want the closed side, so that's the closed side. The difference being that's open side. See how it's open? But with Skiffs, you don't really have to worry about that. It doesn't matter. They're much better bearings. I'm kind of excited to see if it can improve the action, because yeah. And I'm just going to put a little bit there, just a tiny bit on those balls. You don't need much. You don't need enough lubricant where it's like running all over the place. That's way too much. Alright, let's go ahead and put a little bit around here. Drop our other Skiff on there. And then for the detent, I still haven't found a better replacement for KPL. If anybody has any recommendations, let me know. KPL Heavy still what I've found is best for the detent track, the detent hole. The zero friction's like KPL regular, right? It's not nearly as thick as like KPL Heavy, and the heavier stuff works better in your detent. So you just need a little tiny bit like that, and put a little bit right there in the detent hole. The detent track hasn't even broke in yet, you know. Pretty impressive. Let's get a little bit on there. Put a little bit right. Hold on a second. What am I doing here? Why is there a detent hole on the wrong side? What the hell am I doing? Did they make these for lefties? I just realized. Does that go all the way through? It does go all the way through. Interesting. I've never seen one they drilled all the way through the blade before. I just was looking at it like, hey, that's not on the right side. What are you doing, dumbass? Huh. Alrighty. Drop my bearing. That's alright. Learn from my mistakes, people. They drilled that detent hole all the way through the damn blade. I ain't going to argue and say they did anything wrong, because this damn thing's too good to say they did anything wrong. So maybe they got their reasoning for it. I'm going to put another little dab of lubricant on that bearing there. Just a tiny bit. Alright. Go back to some heavy here. Put a little bit more on that detent ball. Tiny bit. Ooh. Just don't need much. Plenty. Plenty, plenty. Alright. See if we can swing this back around here. That way we didn't have to take everything apart. That's always awesome sauce. Popped right back in. We are golden. Very easy disassembly. And it would have been hard to take it all the way apart. It would have been very simple actually, but and there is some type of thread locker in there. It's bluish, so I must assume it's Loctite. The blue Loctite. I don't know that, but I'm not going to put any back on it. I like to adjust my knives, play with them. Go ahead and slightly get these started, and then we'll check our blade center and blade play. I'm not going to tighten it all yet, just till I feel them start to get snug a little bit. I love the screws they use, man. Thick, 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 thick screws. All T8, which is amazing. Alright, how's our blade centering? Ooh, we are dead nuts centered. Got any blade play? Not a bit. Let's go ahead and go ahead and tighten these babies down back here. I got to tighten the other side too because I started to loosen them, remember? These are still really loose. That one was still really loose anyway. Alright. Alright. Dead nut centered. 0 blade play. Oh. Okay. Okay. 2 sets of balls will improve things for you. Yeah. It's definitely a little more drop shutty now. Got some lube on the blade there. Let's wipe that off. So guys, if you've made it around this long, right? If you're still sticking around for this long, got a question for you guys. I love this knife, right? You guys know I love this knife. I love the look of it. I love the action. But as far as the looks go, the blue micarta with the acid etch looks really good in my opinion. And I was thinking about doing that with this knife. The Variant PE2. Doing the acid etch on this blade. Because Urban EDC sells these knives also. I was thinking about making them like a matched pair. Obviously we have very different micarta here. And if I did the blade acid etched it, I'd have to take this back to a... I'd have to just strip the color, the anode off this blue pocket clip. And thinking about doing it. I have to do the liners too. Sometimes liner, and the thing is I don't think the pivot will take it very well. A lot of the stills they use on some of the screws and pivots just do not take an acid etch well. So I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Would be a nice project. If I do it, I would probably record a video and show you guys how to do the acid etch. It's very simple to do. Here it is on my Feist I did. I didn't do a very deep one on this one, but you can make it, or a very dark one. You can go darker and darker and darker. Depending on how you do it, you can make it much darker if you want it to be. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Gotta love the GoodSkrew, man. Man, that's a good looking bit driver. Love the GoodSkrew. Alright. Everything out the way. Let's get our work mat here out the way. There we go. Play with that action a little bit. Very good, man. Very, very good. Better good. Very good. So good. It's not just very good. It's like next level good. It was already next level good before the Skiffs, but the Skiffs, I definitely feel an improvement. It's definitely more drop shutty now. That could just be the cleaning and the new lubricant also, but you know, having 4 more balls on the pivot is definitely going to assist in the action. The Skiffs are made extremely well also. The way they do their bearings, you can just, I know it's just talking about a bearing, but you pick up a Skiff bearing and you compare it to one of these bearings, whoever these are, you can see and feel the difference. Much nicer bearings for sure, and it has improved this knife. Not extensively, not a big difference, but I feel a difference for sure. Where you really notice Skiffs is a knife that doesn't have the greatest action, but it's good action, and then you can really, it'll blow your mind sometimes. You throw a set of Skiffs in certain knives, and you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't they do this when they made the knife? Why didn't they use these? This one isn't that drastic of a change, but I do feel a difference, and I just feel better knowing I got Skiffs in it. You know what I mean? Skiffs make everything better. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about bearings, comment below. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'll see you guys on the next one.